Today I want to talk about motors on the scooter. This is that's a new scooter. It's built for a customer, and I'm not convinced because of the motor. I tried different motors. I tried so many motors in the last 10 years, and there are only a few motors I can recommend, and all the other motors are not so good. But today I want to talk about hub motors and mid-drive motors and the costs. There's a huge difference in performance and in the amount of money you have to invest. I tried this scooter 2 days ago, and it got a 4,200 watt of peak power, and it is bad. I got this Weber motor for normally €75 or €120. It is in this price range, the mid-drive motor. And I drive the Weber motor with a 3,600 watt peak, and you got more punch, more fun, more power uphill, and you feel it's going up, up and up. When you go uphill, there is a lot of torque, enough torque for having fun and riding experience. And so I put the new hub motor from Golden Motor. It's a 1000 watt rated hub motor, and it weighs about, with the tire, about 9 kilo, between 9 and 10 kilo. And the suspension performance was bad because you have unsprung mass of about 10 kilo. It's very bad, you feel it, and you have to put a lot more pressure into the tire, because you got so much unsprung mass. When you ride at 0.7 bar, you can do it with a mid-drive motor without any problem. You got a very soft ride, and you don't have problems with the rim. But with a so heavy motor, you always get hits. You feel the hits when you drive fast at more than 30 kilometers per hour. You feel the hits on the rim. It's the first generation. This motor, you see it in one of my videos. I tested some stair ridings, and I got this motor for about 1 day, and this day I destroyed it completely with only riding some stairs. And you see the cracked rim here. It's so bad. You see it here. It's cracked here. It's cracked here. It's cracked about the whole motor is. It's not a piece of shit. It's good. It's working fine with the right controller. You can ride in the forest or some single trails, no problem. But there's another problem. You got here 40 millimeters, it's 10 millimeters. You got only 2 millimeters here and here. And when you go into a curve and you want to carve the bike, when you want to carve it, you feel, you hear the disc brake. And I hammered the axle on. I make it really hard on the screws and tight, and I got a little bit improvement, but I hear the brake in critical situations. I can hear, and the motor can move a little bit because you only got 2 millimeters here. It's the feeling of stiffness is there is a huge difference. You feel it in critical or in hard situation. You can feel the difference to a normal hub and to this small amount of surface you got between the motor and the swing arm. But that is not a huge problem. But you notice the difference when you are able to ride the two motors or the two different bikes. I also got at 52 volts, I got a maximum speed of about 35 or 38 kilometers per hour. It's not fast. And especially the suspension performance is bad. You feel the mass weight of the whole rear tire system, and when you got small hits in the forest at about 40 kilometers per hour when you go downhill, you feel there is something unnatural in the riding behavior. And now I'll show you it by the camera. When I mount the tire, you see it here, the little crack. It's just by mounting this tire, because it's a really hard fight to get this tire on the rim. You need all these three pieces of, I don't know the English word, you know what I mean. And at the last, on the last section of the tire, you have to use a lot of force, and only by mounting it, because you need a lot of force to get the tire into the middle section, and it's so hard, you cannot get it with your hands into the section, so you have to get a lot of force that is going by itself into this direction. And I used so much force, I damaged the rim a little bit in this area, and I noticed that this kind of aluminium is very, very untough. It's not a good aluminium alloy, and so I don't recommend this rear wheel for jumping or make dirt jump, or jumping 2 meters into flat. You will destroy it directly, or riding stairs at high speeds. Forget it. You can ride stairs, but you have to be slowly, and you can also ride stairs uphill with this motor, but you have to ride slowly. You cannot ride fast. You destroy this rim. Especially this reinforced wheel from the last generation from Golden Motor. It's thicker. It's really thick here. It is made stronger, but it's not strong enough for hardcore using. Forget it. Forget these wheels. You can get this wheel at Amazon here in Germany for cheapest price is $200. Sometimes you pay $250. And at AliExpress I've seen it for $120, and $150 is the shipping, because it's very heavy. But it's shipping by air. You have to wait only 1 week, or sometimes you have to only wait 3 days or 4 days. When you really want to push your scooter hard, really hard, I think this wheel is a good choice. I waited without the sprocket carrier, only the rim, the hub, the spokes. You got 788 grams. It's okay. With this, it's about 1 kilo. Only then you have to put the tire, 2.5 kilo and so on. But the wheel, only the wheel without the tire is 1 kilo against 8 or 9 kilo. And when you go on a curb with about 45 kilometers per hour, normally with 260 millimeters of wheel travel, you can easily, with this wheel, you can easily just run over the curb and nothing happens. The suspension will soak it up and nothing happens because it's so light. When I make it with a wheel like this, it's the same as you go up to 8 meters high and you put the wheel and let it fall down 8 meters against the curb. High speeds and a lot of mass, it will not become friends, and that's a problem. So I don't recommend these wheels. But how much costs a wheel like this here? And I make my list. The only hub who is working with a lot of torque, I tried different hubs in all the years. Shimano hubs I can destroy in about 4 hours. And Hopen hubs I need 4 hours and 30 minutes or whatever. You need the DT Swiss famous ratchet system. And you got a DT 350 hub. It's the best hub for this e-scooter situation. You can get it in the online market for 150 euro. You need a spider. This spider, it came from OSET. It's 80 euro. You need an axle, 6 euro. You need a special carrier who is able to put the force from the spider onto the hub. This carrier is about 35 euro. Then you need some spacers. It's crazy, the spacer costs about 12 euro in the bike industry. The rim is very cheap. I use a BMX rim for kids. It's working fine. It's a single wall. Maybe it cracked one day, but for 25 euro you don't make anything wrong. It's a lot tougher than this shit. 25 euro. Is you have some guy who builds this wheel set up. You have to cut all the spokes and so on, and you have to buy the spokes, the nipples. I pay 150 for it. A tire. This big tire is about 50 euro in the internet. A very good tube from Heidenau, I recommend Heidenau, is about 70 euro. Then you need a rear sprocket. It's this one from Kevlar. It's from Go-Kart Sport. You pay 16 euro for it. A KMC chain, 35 euro. You need a chain cutter. Especially when you got problems with your bike or some parts. When you go into the forest, some parts go into the chain and destroy something. You need one day a special car chain cutter. It is 15 euro. You need a front sprocket. From OSET, for example, OSET is producing this sprocket. It's about 20 euro. All this together is 611 euro. You got this wheel, 611, but there are a little bit more costs. The carrier, it will not fit here. And you need both sides. When you only mount one with the screws, you got not enough surface for the torque. I recommend 2. When you buy this part you get 2 of them. So you have to, on a milling machine you have to open it just a little bit. Or if you want to save money, go in with a you cut it here a little bit so it will fit here. And then the next problem is it will not fit here. When you buy it from LMX bikes for 60 euro, it's cheaper. Yes, it will fit, but you see the space? Forget it to drive. You got your chains very strong and loose, very strong and loose. You feel it in your handlebar at high speed. You damage your chain, you damage your sprocket. This is maximum 1/10 of a millimeter allowed to get a good driving feeling. So you have to open it just a little bit. It's not much, but it will not fit. This part here also got too much space. You see, that's normal, but also there's also too much movement. And you see it or you hear it on some of my videos, it's going wow, wow, wow. That's the point, when it's not when you don't do it good enough. So normally you have to go to a company who's making it, or a guy who has a milling machine. You pay additional 50 euro for cutting it here on this side and into this inner side. And you have to bring your hub to the guy who is making it. So you are about 660 euro. And you need this part. You can get it from a bike shop for maybe he lended you for free, just to tighten it on the hub. You only need it one day, I think, one time, and it's okay. But now you don't have the motor, you just got your rear wheel. You can use this Weber motor, but the Weber motor is it's not going with Sinus, it's not working with a Sinewave controller. The behavior is okay, but if you really want a really good motor, having a 5-pole pairs, it's 4-pole pairs, 5-pole pairs, you can drive it with Sinus. You can get 120 amperes of peak current on the fast cables. I put 350 amperes on I changed the cables into the motor. I put 350 ampere on it and it works great. One day the last part of the cable became so hot it starts to melt, but the motor is still working. I destroyed the Hall sensors, but I'm going to repair it, and you never can get, when you got 350 amperes on this motor, it will blow up directly. This motor is from Golden Motors, the famous BLDC 108, and you can get it from Golden Motor for $148. And then you have the shipping costs of about $100. So you got about, including tax and so on, between 250 and 270 euro. So at the end you are for a rear driving system with a mid-drive motor, you are about costs of about between 850 and 900 euro. And the controller You don't have a controller in this setup. I sell the next thing is the controller you need. I sell my bikes with controller. The controller is a part of the frame, and you can choose between a Cinewave controller or from Kelly or a field-orientated controller, a FOC signal controller for the Vevo motors. So normally the controller you pay about $200. So for a whole driving system without batteries, only controller, motor and rear wheel and the chain, you are between $1,000 and $1,100. You don't got the frame and anything else. But that's what you have to pay in the internet, and when you get the cheapest price from the shops. Below 1,000 euro, it's critical. Below 500 euro, forget it. You can build it with a cheap $20 hub, yes, and a cheap $10 rim, but it will not last long. It will last for a few days when you punch 3,500 or 5,000 watt on it. Forget it. You have to pay this amount of money, and not the frame. The frame is about, including the controller, will be about $2,500. So that's the whole bike you see here is about $4,800 or $5,000, including the fork, setup, including the front wheel. It's special. There's a special rim. It's a special tire and some special parts. But when we only talk about the driving system, we only talk about the rear wheel, chains, or a rear hub motor. You can get it for, including the tire, 50 euros a tire, $250 the motor from Amazon, $300, yeah, $320 for this piece of shit. Or you pay $1,100, you get really cool stuff, lasts for a long time, you can punch more torque, you have more fun uphill, you have more fun downhill, you have a great working suspension system because it's very light, but it's still, the mass of the tire is heavy enough to get the bike stable. When you put a mountain bike tire on it, it's not a good driving behavior because you need some force to get the bike stable like a motorcycle.